Well, I was really, first of all, thank you for inviting me in this salon. I was very attracted by the topic that you have chosen. The Super Tuesday, the Iowa caucus, linked somehow with the practices and experiences that can be transferred to Kosovo, is actually a very interesting thing. Today is the busiest day in 2016 primaries in the United States, because it's Super Tuesday, that's what it's all about. It's interesting that you've also chosen Iowa. Iowa, besides being a sister state of Kosovo, is also a very interesting story regarding democracy and democratic elections, nominations, and so on. But there are two sides of the story, of course. Iowa represents, for example, 1% of the total US population. And that 1% of the total US population somehow influences the rest of the election process. How can that happen? I heard once, a long time ago, a very interesting example of how this can happen. It's just like when you talk about a movie. All of us here know that there is a new movie coming. We all know what that movie is going to talk about. We've all seen the trailer of the movie and everything. However, one of us has the chance to go to the movie premiere. And that guy coming from the movie premiere gives us the best feedback. Who do you trust? That's one. We're here like 25. We trust that guy, or at least we're influenced by his judgment of the movie, because he's the only one who has actually seen the movie. So this is what Iowa caucus is all about. It's 1% of the population being the first to see the movie, which is actually very interesting. The caucus, the concept of caucus, by the way, I'm a lawyer, and I'm a commercial lawyer. Doesn't mean that I support Donald Trump, so it's a side note. The Iowa and the caucus itself as a concept is very interesting because it gives this community engagement. You should be really good friends to your neighbor if you're representing one of the candidates, because that also will influence the overall decision. But it's a really good symbol of this Athenian democracy, because you see people directly engaged, directly talking to each other. And people have the opportunity to change their mind, and to change their mind in the last minute. And what is more important, people have the opportunity, when they're undecided, to hear the others, to talk to their friends, to talk to their colleagues, talk to their neighbors, and then make a decision. As opposed to the classic system of primaries, which is similar to this, what Arben mentioned before, what they're trying to do in Albania with one member, one vote principle from the political party. That's also democratic, but the fact that the process happens so quick, it's so fast, that does not represent the real values of a real democracy. Because then you will just have to go and vote, and the process ends when the election results come out. Otherwise, the Iovian system, or the caucus itself, is something that could be really beneficial to a country like Kosovo. Because we are a really small country, and we don't have to change the constitution in order to implement this system. You know why? Because this system is something that can be implemented within the political parties. It can start from there. None of the political parties in Kosovo have fixed rules. They have their charters, their bylaws. Those charters, bylaws can be changed by their general assemblies. So if they want to change something, political parties can start there. There is no legal obligation for a political party to hold its internal elections in one way or the other. So this is the first step. If we have a party who is actually really in favor of introducing new concepts of democracy, they can do it right away. I'm sure that they will even find the support and technical assistance of Iowa, any Iovian party, company. There are, consulting companies that deal with these things. It's 21st century. Somebody can fix this, can make a new system, so one of the parties can start by trying it. The problem here in Kosovo and in Balkans in general is that there's always this president of the political party who is always the nominee for prime minister or for president of the country, which is completely wrong. How many of you guys who knows who's the president of the Democratic Party in the United States? Or of the Republican Party? Well, besides you maybe, but I'm not sure that many others know that. The idea here is that we should distinguish between positions that require administration and positions that require leadership. Leadership is something that people should decide whether the person is suitable enough to be nominated as the future leader of one country. Yes, everybody talks about United States spending 16 months on their election process. Well, of course you spend 16 months because you have to live with that person for the next 5 years, 4 years. So, of course you spend that time. And of course you want to be sure that that person is the ideal person that will be running your state. And basically, in this case, the most powerful one. But even in a Kosovo context, you need a leader. You need a stronger leader than the United States does, because we are in a really bad situation. That's why you need people to see a new leader grow. The first question raised here by the director of D4D was very interesting. Can a new Barack Obama come to the political scene in Kosovo? Under these circumstances, no. Absolutely, it's impossible. And it's not even because of political elites. It's because the system in the political parties itself is so much dictated from 3 to 5 people that it's almost impossible for new leaders to come up. You've seen the case, the typical case of Kosovo Democratic League, with some tentatives in the past of a new leader coming up. No, it was impossible because the system is designed that way that it will not allow it. On the other side, we've seen recently, just 2-3 years ago, I think it's even 2 years ago, when a political figure joined the biggest political party in Kosovo, which is the Democratic Party in Kosovo. He actually joined it in a very legitimate form. He started from its local sub-branch in a village somewhere in Mitrovica. He became a delegate in that local sub-branch, then a delegate to the branch, then the delegate to the central committee, and later on a deputy president of the political party. But you know what's the problem here? We knew that that guy would come to this position. Doesn't matter if he started from the local sub-branch or if he started directly in the central committee of the party. We knew that that guy starting there will end up here because that was known. I mean, it was a pre-known fact. So this is now the problem why we will not have a leader coming out of nowhere, because it will be impossible. The system itself doesn't allow it. What can we do to improve? Very easy. Find a political party willing to change. They have nothing to lose. In the end of the day, people should tell them that you will not lose, you will win, because the purpose of the political party is to get into power. By allowing people to make their own choices, that will be a direct possibility of one small political party to show to the others that they can change and they can actually come to power. So basically these are the most important topics that I've decided to touch and maybe even open the floor for discussion. And before we do so, just so you know, on the Republican side, on the Republican front, we're talking about now, as of now, we're talking about Donald Trump, who has more votes than all of his other candidates together. As a Republican myself, I would say that I don't want Trump to be elected there for one simple reason, because I want Republicans to win the 2016 elections. But what can you do? This is democracy. And this is the best thing of democracy, that people will be those who will be entitled to choose in the end. Doesn't matter if we like it or if we don't like it. And it's very interesting that the Iowa results, as were mentioned, as we've opened here now, the Iowa results are not really reflecting the current situation as we're speaking, because Donald Trump lost in Iowa caucus. However, we'll see what will happen after today's Super Tuesday results. That was from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ardi.